Mm. So I'm not going to be there.
Have the TCC live. Everybody get lit to this jive. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. The TCC live. Everybody get lit to this jive. Everybody getting Jesus high. Everybody getting a Jesus high.
Alrighty, hello everybody. We are
What's
back
going
again.
on?
Big thanks to Michael Koo for our new intro song. We are super
Love
stoked
that.
about that. Michael Koo's
Yep.
killing it. If you get a chance, shout out to Michael and say great job on that because we appreciate it. Man, it's crazy that we're still in quarantine, but we're excited that phase one of kind of reopening starts tomorrow. We don't have any
Yes.
real information yet on what that means for getting together, but we are working on it. We've got a meeting on Monday to kind of decide like what can we do, what can't we do. But we're hoping we can provide some opportunities, even if they're outdoors, just to be around you guys again, just to see your lovely faces because we
Yeah.
miss you. We miss seeing you. So we're
Really
working
do.
on that. As soon as we know, you will know. Steve, what are you up to this week?
Yeah, no, did some crazy things. Came up to Pennsylvania, went and was able to see my mom and dad and hang out with them for a bit. So still up here and then headed back on Monday, but it's been good to see the family.
Glad to
So,
hear it, man. Glad to hear it.
yeah.
Got some birds.
Yep, yeah, got some birds. Cora was able to play with some birds too, so she's learning, being able to teach her more, do some homeschooling puppy style. So it's
There
been
you
good.
go. There you
Yeah.
go. Cool. Well, we are going to get right into it with the game today. This week's game is going to be different. We had a video submitted during the week that kind of got us rethinking what we wanted to do for game this week. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the video that inspired the game for this week. This came from the Shriner family. So check this one
Yeah.
out.
It's a good one.
10.
Sarah's out.
No. Retry.
Okay. Take two. Sit.
It's a practice round.
Jack.
Oh, Jack's out.
Owen?
Jack's out.
Sarah. Sarah's out. Owen, can you complete the task? Ready?
Again. Why do you throw it so straight?
Throw it.
I need an arc.
Arc it!
See? I can go all day.
1 to 1 to 1.
Ah.
Sarah's out. Jack's out. Ah! Owen, complete it! Owen wins! Let's see how many Owen can do.
So clearly, Owen is the champion there. Owen is our grand champion.
What a dog.
So the Shriners kind of gave us the inspiration, and so we decided to make that the game for this week. So we reached out to a couple TCC families to see how they could do in 1 minute, how many cheese balls they can catch in their mouths. So Stephen, we got the Metters versus the Meltons today.
Yeah.
Stephen has not seen this, so Stephen, you got to pick.
I'm hoping the Meltons. I know
Ooh.
Katie Melton. She's a little fierce at times, and I know that she gets real competitive. So hopefully the Meltons, they can pull it through, but we'll find out.
All right, comment section. Let us know who you think is going to win. Let's go ahead and watch both videos. You can keep counting at home, but then afterwards I'll let you know the math on who is our winner. So first up, the Metters, and then we'll see the Meltons.
Man.
You gotta keep them. Keep them coming. Yeah, they're bad. I missed one yet.
There you go.
Ready? Set. Go.
Well, that went well. I loved it. I loved it.
A
So
lot of good effort.
here's the details on that. By the way, the Meltons definitely won the swag contest. The Meltons with the swag at the end there definitely
Yeah.
take that one. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
I think we have to crown an individual winner and a team winner because since there was only 2 Metters, they were getting a lot more tossed to them individually. But
Yeah.
there were 3 Meltons, so they had more opportunities. So I think we got to go with a split winner here. So here's the math. Nathan, if you couldn't tell, killed it. Nathan Metter with 11 out of 12.
That's fierce.
That's doing some good work right there. That's
Yeah.
doing some good work. The comment section is wondering why they spit them out. They don't eat cheese balls, so they were creative and just caught them and then immediately put them in the trash can. So we're going to count it. I think it was good. Miss Angie got 3 out of 12, but I think we have to give it. Miss Angie gets bonus points for the laugh. The laugh was great, so some bonus
Right.
points there.
Man.
Then for the Meltons, Katie got 6 out of 10. Rachel got 2 out of 10, and Madeline got 7 out of 10. So some good numbers there. It ended up. All right, here's the deal. The Meltons got 15 over the course of time. The Metters got 14. So the family winner is going to be the Meltons. The Melton family is going to take the win. But
Yes.
the individual champion has got to go to Nathan because I got to be honest. I've watched every Olympics, World Cup, and thing like that since I've been born, and that was the greatest athletic performance I've ever seen. I'm going to start pushing hard for the 2020 Olympics to have what should we call it? Cheese ball catching and spitting back out in it.
Absolutely.
And Nathan Metter can represent the U.S. all
Yeah.
day long on that one.
Absolutely.
So loved it. Here's the deal. I loved that personally. I loved watching that. So here's what we want for next week's game. I want you in the comment section, or you can text me or text Steven or Mary. Here's the deal. I want somebody to challenge another TCC family to some kind of contest. So I want one family to say, hey, we want to call out this family and we're going to challenge them in blank. And we'll help you set the rules. We'll help you if you need help videoing it, whatever. But here's the deal. From now on the show, we're going to have family challenges. So we started off with the Meltons versus the Metters. Again, the Meltons are the week 1 family champion. Nathan is going to be the week 1 individual champion. But in the comment section or via text this week, let us know who wants to challenge who and let us know what contest, and we will make it happen.
Yeah.
We can't
That's
wait
gonna
to
be
see.
good.
Yeah, we can't wait to see what you have in mind. Here's the deal: Steven and I aren't above being challenged. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say you should challenge us because you shouldn't, because you will lose.
Better
I'm
believe
gonna
it.
be real honest right now. If you challenge us, you will lose. That's all I gotta say. 10th grade boys, don't come at us. Don't come at us. You don't want a problem like
Can't.
that.
You
You
can't.
don't want that problem. All right, here we go. Coming up next, we've got Eli's word of the week. This one is extra special and extra good. Make sure to pay close attention.
Baby. Baby. Baby.
Yeah, where's the baby?
Baby.
Where's the baby? In mommy's belly. Baby.
I hope you guys caught that. Baby Ward number 2 is on the way. Eli is going to be a big brother. Yeah,
Congratulate. How you feeling, Dad?
man, we're feeling good. We're super, super excited. We can't wait to meet the next little one. We don't know gender or anything yet. Anna's about 8 weeks along, so things are still real early. But we can't wait. We're so excited.
Aw, that's gonna be great.
So the due date right now is Christmas Eve, so we're looking at a little Christmas baby. But we didn't want to wait until we were back in person to tell you because we don't know when that's going to be. So there's the big news. We just found out this past week, so it's all very new, but we couldn't be more excited. So Eli coming as a big brother. Can't wait to see that. And honestly, really what we're doing is we're preparing for even more family challenges because our babies will dominate you.
Complete domination.
All right, with that, it is time for Just My Luck with Lauren, the one and only. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Lauren back with my embarrassing stories because once again, we all know I have a million. This week I'm going to tell you guys a couple waitressing stories. For those of you who don't know, I was a waitress at Texas Roadhouse for 8 months when it first opened, the one in Holly Springs. And working there for the amount of time I did, I definitely had a couple embarrassing moments happen. So, the most embarrassing moment, the one that first comes to mind when I think about it, is I hated food running. Absolutely hated it because you ran it to other people's tables, and if there was something wrong, you had to fix it. And I'd just rather, hey, what can I get you? So, but I was running food for a table that had like only 2 people in it. And so I went and I grabbed the food. And it was just one big black tray that had the 2 meals on it, but it had to be on a big black tray because there's like a side that wouldn't fit on one of the plates. So, you know, I was carrying it. I always carried it like above my head because that's just what was more comfortable and helped, I don't know, center of gravity, whatever. That's what worked for me. So I always says, bring the plate down. I got to the table and I'm bringing it down. And as I'm doing this, like I was always pretty good about keeping it level. But for some reason, the guy's ribs fell off the plate, bounced off my shoulder and hit the ground. And I was like, I've never done this before. And I was like, oh. And so the lady, the wife starts cracking up. She thought it's hilarious that her husband's ribs, that he was so hungry, he'd been waiting. She laughed. She's like, ha, there goes your food. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I'm so sorry. And my boss was already mad at people because everybody was spilling food that day for some reason. We don't know why. But like the first big mistake I ever really made, and at least food spilling wise. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I like bend over and pick up the ribs and they're like falling apart in my hands. And I'm like waddling back to the kitchen and I run and I'm like, I need a half a slab of ribs stat. And like everybody just stops and starts laughing at me because I looked really dumb, just like waddling like a duck with the ribs between my legs, like slipping out of my fingers. It was so bad. And one more quick one. One time I was taking an order. My pen was green. The cap was green. Guy ordered an unhealthy meal because that's what you do at Texas Roadhouse. You get good, unhealthy food. And my green pen cap fell into his water. And he looked at me. He's like, I was like, I guess I thought you needed some greens with your meal, sir. Most people can joke. He could not.
Oh, Lauren, we'll never run out of Lauren stories, I don't think. I do think everyone, next time you see Lauren in person, you need to say, I need a half rack of ribs stat, because that should be Lauren's new tagline. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
The image of Lauren running with just ribs in her hands back to the kitchen is hilarious.
Yeah.
And I love it very much. Next up, gosh, I was so excited to get to talk to this person this week. We sat down with Steph Schrager for a little while this week and caught up with her. So we're going to talk to Steph, and then Steph is going to have a worship song for us. So here is our quick sit down with Steph Schrager. Well, today we are joined by Steph Schrager. Steph, it's so good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you too, Lanier. I'm good.
Good. Steph is back in the area, actually. We'll get there. But Steph, for those of us who don't know, kind of what have you been up to since a couple years ago when you were interning at TCC? Where's life taken you?
Yeah, so I interned at TCC right before my junior year of college, and I went to Liberty University, and I did a major in music and worship with some minors in youth ministry and biblical studies. So that was super fun. Loved that. So the summer after TCC, I interned at a church in upstate New York called Northridge Rochester. I learned a lot there just about what day-to-day ministry looks like in a context that's a little different than what I'm used to. So that was super duper cool. And then I went back to school for senior year, graduated, did a program called GenSend through the North American Mission Board. I went to Portland for the summer. I think it was an 8-week long mission trip. And was able to be a part of church plant ministry, led worship for church plants, worked alongside church plants in the city of Portland, mainly with homeless ministries and a lot of homeless shelters. It was a really, really, really fun summer. So honestly, if you are looking for something to do either summer while you're in college or right out of college, I would totally recommend GenSend, especially Portland, because Portland is really cool. And then I got home from Portland, and right now, ever since the end of August, I have been in an apprenticeship program at Summit Church in kind of all throughout the Triangle, but I'm mainly at the Apex campus, doing things with Summit Worship. So yeah.
Awesome. And so is that apprenticeship, is that a 2-year?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's 2 years.
So you're about halfway through?
I am exactly halfway through.
Awesome.
So the program ends in May.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal.
May of 2021.
Well, Steph, we need to get to know you a little bit better. So I have some just kind of rapid fire questions for you. Number one,
Okay.
If you could only listen to one genre of music for the rest of your life, what would it be? I know.
Alternative?
Okay. That's a very,
Maybe.
it's a very
Okay.
Portland answer of you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. What's the first restaurant you're going to go to once we're out of quarantine?
Oh, I don't know what it's called. It's a Mexican restaurant, and I call it the Apex Mexican Restaurant. I don't know what road it's on. I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
But
When quarantine ends, everybody, we're meeting Steph at the Apex Mexican Restaurant. Everybody jot that down.
yes, see you there.
There's probably only about 7 of them, so somebody will see Steph. Somebody, somewhere.
Yeah, if you go to one of them, I'm sure.
Perfect. Okay. If you were just immediately talented enough and could do it, which sport would you go professional in?
Probably ice skate, like figure skating.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Ever
a good
since I
one.
watched the movie Ice Princess with Anne Hathaway,
Yeah, it changed all of us one way or the other.
it's been my dream.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, just one more. If you could open for any artist in the world, who would it be?
Colony House.
Oh, yeah, good choice. Yeah, that's an excellent choice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Steph, the last thing is, gosh, you have a long history at TCC. I think longer than mine, probably. Yeah, definitely longer than mine. For those of y'all who don't know, Steph joined the worship team like when she was in 7th grade, I think. So we played together like all the way back in the old youth trailer. Steph started out playing bass way back in the day, and so we were on the worship team together for like 6 or 7 years.
Long time.
And that doesn't even count when she came back and interned. So, Steph, when you think back on your time at TCC as a student, as an intern, what are some of like the memories that stand out?
I would say I have a lot of fun memories from TCC, and it was really different being a student and then being an intern. So I would say as a student, some of my favorite memories had to do with tribes and Merge. I just remember, I forget a lot of it. It kind of feels almost like a fever dream. But the first night of tribes where I think we were blindfolded.
Yeah.
And then we were like led through the church, and we sat on wet sponges. And then we all like gathered around and raised our pinkies in the air and said the Shema. one of the most fun nights I think of my life. Like, I'll remember that forever.
Yeah,
So funny.
Gwen brought that one up last week too.
Like, so weird.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just think about it.
I'm glad you
I
said
wonder-
fever dream, because that's kind of what we were aiming for. That was when we conceptualized it. It was like, we want people to wonder if this really happened to them or not.
I'm glad that it did.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think another memory just all around is Merge. I saw it from literally every perspective possible. I think I was a student, going to houses and being in groups, and that was so fun. And just being able to live in the same house as all my friends and a really, really cool and wise leader for a whole weekend. That really was transformative for me as a high schooler. And then being able to come back and be a leader, which was so fun and chaotic, but mostly fun. And then being able to be in the band. So I think Merge is one of the best.
Yeah, it's a good one. The comment section is going to be going crazy right now because RIP Merge. It's united now, but
I know.
The comment
Sad.
section will be going crazy, but new Merge is great too. We had a great time this year.
Yes, I'm sure. I wish I was there.
There was a lot less Steph, which we were sad about, but that's okay. We'll recover.
It's fine.
Well, Steph, we love you. We miss you. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon after we're allowed to see humans again.
Yes, I will be stopping by for sure.
Awesome. Take care, Steph.
You too, Linear.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry about that, folks. For some reason, again this week, the worship videos don't want to play. So my apologies. I checked it again this week and it was fine, and now it's not fine. So big apologies, because everybody loves hearing Steph. So I've deprived you, and I'm sorry. So with that, we will skip ahead. We have an exciting testimony from McKinley Pettigrew today. McKinley's going to share a little bit.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out middle school. Middle school, she's in 7th grade. McKinley, she's a twin, which is always exciting. My wife's a twin too. So McKinley's going to share a little bit of how Jesus has changed her life.
Hi, my name is McKinley, and I'm a 7th grader, and I thought I'd just share a little bit of my testimony with you guys. So, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I used to live in Tennessee. I was born and raised there till I was about 9 years old. When I was 6 years old, my grandparents and cousins had moved from Texas to Tennessee to live with us. So, about 4 years down the road, we discovered that my dad was being offered a job to live in North Carolina. And at first, we really just declined it and kind of was like, no, we're not going to move there, because all of our family and friends and basically just our whole life had been in Tennessee. And we really prayed about it and really felt like Jesus was, or God was calling us to live in North Carolina. So we moved to North Carolina, and I was kind of frustrated, and I didn't really understand of why did he have us move here, because all of our family and friends were in Murfreesboro. And we really prayed for friends and was asking God, can you please just help us grow some roots here? And then one day we went to our neighborhood pool and met the Davis twins, Leah and Kayla. And they had introduced us to TCC, and that has been the place to where I have really grown my relationships, and I have really found Christ there, and really just kind of grown roots, and also a soccer team and my co-op that I go to. And I really just realized that God is really in control, and that he does definitely know what he's doing, and he could see down the path way ahead of what we can see. We can see just a little glimpse of it. And I do believe that God has called us here for a reason, and I am learning that you can really go to God for comfort, and that you can really talk to him. And that's just a little taste of my testimony, but yeah.
awesome, McKinley. Great job. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We love that you're here. We love that God brought your family here. And yeah, just thank you so much for being willing to be open with us. If you want to share how Jesus has changed your life, we'd love to hear from you. You can put it in the comment section. You can text us, email us, whatever, but we would love to hear your story. As you've seen, they don't have to be long. They can be super short, just quick little messages of how Jesus has changed your life. So with that, we're going to switch gears and head into our Bible Project video. Remember, we are doing breakout groups right after this via Zoom and WebEx and whatever else our leaders are using. So right after this, that's going to get started. You should have gotten those links from your parents. Hopefully they've been emailed to you. If not, make sure to text us or email us and we will get those links to you ASAP. You can put it in the comment section too if you need it, because we want to make sure you can get there. So we will actually not have an interview on the other side of the video. Steve and I will talk for just a minute and then we will head out to our breakout groups. So this week we are going to be talking about generosity in our Bible Project video. So let's give it a shot.
Imagine your friend invites you to a party. You arrive and there's lots of people, decorations, food and drink. There's enough for everyone.
When you're hosted by someone that generous, you don't have to worry about your needs. You can just enjoy yourself and focus on the people around you.
Yeah, that's what a good host wants for her guests.
And this is the picture of the world that we find in the Bible. Creation is an expression of God's generous love. He's the host, and humans are his guests in a world of opportunity and abundance.
And we're called to keep the party going, to spread his goodness. This is a beautiful picture. But it's not the way people experience the world. Rather, we find a world of scarcity and struggle, not abundance.
And Jesus grew up in that kind of world. Under military occupation, people losing their land or families to debt and poverty. And yet, he would say things like this. Look at the birds. They don't store up food for themselves, yet they have enough. Or consider the wildflowers. They're beautiful and abundant, and they don't stress about their existence. And you all should live that way too.
But surely Jesus knew that things don't always work out. I mean, sometimes there really isn't enough.
And Jesus did experience poverty firsthand, but he viewed the world through the story of the Hebrew Scriptures, which claimed that our scarcity problem isn't caused by a lack of resources. Rather, the problem is our mindset that God can't be trusted.
Maybe God's holding out on me. Maybe there isn't enough, and maybe I need to take matters into my own hands.
And once we're deceived into that mindset of scarcity, we can justify the impulse to take care of me and mine before anyone else. And that leads to envy, anger, violence, and a world where it seems like there's not enough.
The party's over, it's turned into a battleground.
But God wants humans to experience his generosity, and so he chooses one people, the family of Abraham, and he promises to give them the abundance that he wants for everybody else. God will provide what they need. All they have to do is trust his generosity.
And through them, the whole world will see how generous the host really is.
But that's not what happens. Abraham's descendants, the Israelites, enter a land of abundance, and they promptly forget the host who gave it to them. They act like it's all theirs, and like there's not enough. And it leads to war and Israel's self-destruction.
If I were the host of this party, I think I'd just give up.
But God doesn't give up. What he does is surprising. He gives another gift.
Another gift?
Yeah, but this gift is different. What God gives is himself.
All right, in Jesus, the host himself comes to join in on the spoiled party.
And notice, Jesus lives with the conviction that there is enough, and that our generous host can be trusted. His mindset of abundance allowed him to live sacrificially and generously, even towards his enemies.
And Jesus called his followers to trust in God's abundance like him.
And that's why he said things like, sell your possessions and give to the poor, or don't worry about your life. He's inviting us to live by a different story, one that is built on trust in God's goodness and love.
But living generously doesn't mean life is gonna go well. I mean, look at Jesus. He was betrayed by his friends, and he suffered.
And this was no surprise to Jesus. He knew that people would take advantage of his generosity. In fact, that was his plan.
Really?
Yeah, think about it. Jesus knows that we're all hopelessly deceived by this lie that there's not enough.
Yeah, that lie needs to be defeated.
And so that's what Jesus was doing when he gave us the gift of his life. Jesus' death was the ultimate expression of God's generous love.
Yeah, God's love can turn death into life and scarcity back into abundance.
Or as the Apostle Paul put it, you know the gift of our Lord Jesus the Messiah, that even though he was rich, for your sake he became poor, so that you, through his poverty, might become rich.
And Jesus called his followers to live like the real party has begun.
Yes, he called it the kingdom of God. And our invitation to this party is yet another gift, the personal presence of God's own Spirit that can teach us how to trust the generosity of the host, just like Jesus did.
Yeah, and when you believe there's enough, you start seeing opportunities for generosity everywhere. With our time and money, our attention.
Yes, one of the most important ways that we can experience the abundance of God's new creation is sharing with others because of our trust that God is the generous host.
Man, that's good stuff. Steve, what's kind of your main thought that comes out of that video, out of this idea of generosity?
Yeah, the thought that I got was it's really hard to be generous when you're really focused on yourself. You know, you see the Israelite people, you know, not trusting God, you know, thinking that they can go their own way, you know, and so like they weren't trying to be generous. And so, yeah, it's like if we're so focused on ourselves, it's hard for us to be generous with other people, you know. So that was kind of my big thought for today.
Yeah, mine was kind of similar. Mine was of the very last thing they were talking about in the video when they talk about this idea that if we're confident in who God is and who he says he is and his love for us, then we really shouldn't be that worried about our possessions, about the things that we have. Because if we know that God's going to provide, then we don't have to worry about providing for ourselves. And that doesn't mean that we make like dumb decisions, but it does mean that we don't have to feel like we have to hold on to everything so tightly because we can know that God's going to provide. So we want to keep those discussions rolling. Your small group leaders should be ready and waiting for you. Lauren is going to hang out with the middle school girls today. Again, you should have gotten that link. If not, reach out. Miss Maria is going to be with the high school girls. Stephen is holding it down with the middle school boys. And Mark Striner has the high school boys. So again, we'd love for you to head into those groups. They should be ready and waiting now. If you need a link, just shout out to us as quick as you can and we will get it to you. We love you. We miss you. Again, we're working hard on seeing about some opportunities for us to get together in person. Not the whole group, but probably some small groups and probably outdoors. But we can't wait to see you guys again, and we love you. And Steve, send us out.
Yeah, we got 3 things. You guys are loved, you guys are valued, and hey, we can't wait to see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
Love you guys.